when I found you with a bottle of wine.
Welcome back to Pro Business Colorado with Dave Tabor on Denver's Money Talk 1690. And my guest today is, or during this segment, is Brian Watson of North Star Commercial Partners. And we were talking about really a pretty depressing notion of, sometimes businesses go through terrible downturns. And I had that happen too at my company, Tabor Interactive. I remember when my company was growing, it was just like that hockey stick that you see in these projections. Yeah, I lost my first year, I made $3,000, and then things started to shoot up. And I thought at that time I was the best businessman ever. I thought I was a rock star. And, I was kind of riding that whole tech thing. And then when the dot-com bubble burst, losing 90% of revenue over a 6-month period of time, you can relate to that. Absolutely. And the soul-shaking things that happen to you, and deciding how do you treat employees, how do you treat yourself when you can't pay yourself, but you have to pay employees, and wondering how to. These are experiences of real entrepreneurs.
They really are. And again, as I said, I think people sometimes look at the outside and see all the trappings, what they think of success, but they don't realize all the personal sacrifice. I mean, my employees, they're my friends. They're family to me. And when you have to sit across from someone, and I literally, during that time period, I had to let some people off. I lay them off, and I kept them on as long as I could. But when you have to sit across from someone you've worked with for many years, and you have to fire them, literally it was an emotional experience. I broke down in tears in front of these people. Mm-hmm. And, because literally I felt like in some way I must have let them down. I was doing everything I could. My wife and I would work all hours of the night. We were working 80-plus hour weeks, just nonstop to try to do what we could. Yeah. And the reality of it is that most of it wasn't our fault. Yeah. It was the economy. It was what everything was with the banking system, et cetera. But we're all caught in it. Yeah. And so we had to downsize, and we kept as small as we could, and then we built it back. And for that, I'll always be, very grateful for that time, just for it really helps you with prioritization. What really matters in this life to me is your relationship with your creator, or however you might define that, your relationship with your family, your wife, your integrity. Those are the non-negotiables. Yeah. And stuff will happen, economies will come and go, but the question is, are we going to be people of integrity? Are we going to be people of focus to still go out and do things for the right reasons? And that was very helpful.
And those comments, excuse me for banging on, those comments are exactly what I would like people who don't have a business yet to understand, that this is an opportunity. Creating a business, running a company is an opportunity to express integrity in admirable ways. And we're speaking now with Brian Watson from North Star Commercial Partners. I'm Dave Tabor, and this is Pro Business Colorado and Denver's Money Talk 1690. And family, we were talking about family just a bit, and I want to ask you more about it because I knew you have a family. Mm-hmm. I have a family. How old are your children?
I have 12 and 15-year-old boys and a 23-year-old daughter.
So when you teach them about business, about how you earn a living, how do you bring your values into that conversation?
Well, to me, business is an expression, frankly, of who you are as a person to some extent. And so it's not like we take off the hat and we're moral in our homes, and then we go into this office and take off that hat and have a license to be immoral. Mm. And so for us, we're really focused on things like relationship, making a positive impact. Oftentimes in business, it's perceived that people are trying to get something from each other. We always come to the negotiation table trying to figure out what we can contribute. Mm-hmm. And so it's a different mindset. And so those things about integrity and timelessness and your word being your bond and building something special, these are manifestations of who you are as a person that you can put into your business. And so one of the things I love about being a business owner is to surround ourselves with great people and to remove the roadblocks for them, help set strategy so that they can blossom. My team, we're just so blessed. I mean, they would literally walk through fire for us, and they just work so hard. And my management style is one of empowerment and encouragement, and it's just amazing to see what happens in that environment.
Do you share these kinds of stories with your family, with your children?
Absolutely. At the dinner table every night, we have a few rules, one of which is all technology is put away, including the parents. And so no looking at a cell phone or anything like that. And we talk about our days, and we'll ask each of the kids and tell them about our days, tell them what we went through, and then we'll come up with a subject of saying, what do you think about things like capital punishment? What do you think about business's role in society and philanthropy? And you'd be surprised what your kids will share with you. And to really encourage them to begin to develop those thought processes early, and whether they have their own company or whether they work for somebody, we want to make sure that they're thinking individuals and trying to make a positive impact.
Yeah, this is Dave Tabor. This is Pro Business Colorado on Denver's Money Talk 1690, and we're speaking with Brian Watson of North Star Commercial Partners. I'm really enjoying this conversation. We're getting deeper, and I think as I visit with my own children, we've had these conversations, and I'll go home. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever done this, when I'm facing a tough decision at work, and I'll often ask my sons who are now old enough to, they're both in college now, but when they were in high school at dinner, what would you do? What do you think I should do? And it's kind of fun because one is you get a fresh look, younger eyes, innocent eyes looking and advising. That's cool. The other is that they get insight into how you think, how you make decisions. It's been really gratifying to include my kids in my own decision making at work.
I think so. I think oftentimes we can get in the weeds as adults and make things even more complicated sometimes than they need to be. And sometimes that simplicity of a fresh, clean look. Yeah. And I've had my kids just say some very deep things to me before where they'll say, "Dad, what about this?" And I look at it, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why didn't I think about that instead of making it so complicated? Yeah. But you're absolutely right.
Or, Dad, why didn't you just tell them what you thought? Oh, yeah, good
novel
idea.
Concept. Never thought about that.
Good idea. We've got this statement in my house, this phrase that I've raised my boys with, 4 attributes. I want them to have 4 attributes. Be brave, bold, honorable, and kind.
Ooh, love those.
And it's really, that's sort of like this mantra. And I share that with you. I share that with the listeners because, I am convinced that small business owners who run their companies right are exactly those things: brave, bold, honorable, and kind. And that's how I want our listeners to be when they're out there building their businesses and driving Colorado.
Well, I agree with that. And I would say, and first of all, I love those 4 principles, but I would also say, too, that we should be the change that we wish to see in this world. Oftentimes people are saying, well, the government needs to take care of it. Oh, no, it's big business that needs to take care of it. Each of us has a sphere of influence to give of our time, our talent, or our treasure, and to figure out how your business can be something that not only is a profitable venture in what you're focusing on, but how it could have that sustainable impact for people in a positive way.
Well,
again, real estate just as a platform that we work on.
Well, that's a good segue. And by the way, we're speaking with Brian Watson of North Star Commercial Partners. I'm Dave Tabor, and this is Pro Business Colorado on Denver's Money Talk 1690.